let me tell you something, uneducated fools.
Make sure you guys stick around for the full video. We got a lot to dive into here. What's the old saying, guys? Liberalism is a mental disorder, correct? Now, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about this. This is a work that, quite frankly, I've been trying to work on for the past 2 weeks, and I can't seem to actually script it properly. So I'm just going to kind of roll with it here. Now, guys, before we get started on this video, if you hear a little bit of rumbling in the background, that's because there's a thunderstorm. A little bit of thunder going on. If you don't like it, I apologize. But then again, though, I kind of would like that for the effect of this video itself. And of course, we're going to be talking about mentalism, about liberalism as a whole. Of course, you're seeing some things that came. There's actually a lot of research articles out here, and you're actually seeing it here that I've actually put inside this video. That liberals, for the most part, seem to have a higher propensity for a mental disorder. Of course, also emotional disorders itself. And of course, the very, very woke nature seems to me that it's almost like it's just a massive amount of depression. You know, the old saying, depression is rage turned inwards. Now, guys, I'm not someone who can give you a fully technical definition on that. I'm not a psychologist. But then again, though, it's not hard to see that this massive degenerate behavior is a result of a complete lack of discipline, a complete lack of self-awareness, a complete lack of self-accountability, and obviously some mental disorders are there. Now, guys, this right here is really just the first part of an ongoing series, okay? I'm going to be talking a lot about societal decay, and don't worry, I'll be talking about my own side, of course, as well, and some of the triggers that we have that maybe we should kind of chill on, because we're getting more and more tribal, and of course it causes people like Tim Pool to go out there and say the CW phrase. We're not even 2 minutes into this video, and of course, you know, I got to kind of keep the certain words at a minimal. Don't worry, I'll probably say the words themselves once we get beyond 2 minutes. But, you know, you see this degradation. Of course, you know, we all thought about the, you guys remember what happened with the Roe v. Wade protest. You know, you guys are seeing these photos here, girls with like red put over there on their nether regions, crap like that right there, the constant twerking, the marching. And of course, you know, you got to think to yourself, I'm just using abortion for an example. You see, abortion, for the most part, is something that, quite frankly, people want to be safe, legal, and rare. Of course, when you go off the deep end, you go from 6 weeks to, by the way, heartbeat can be detected at 6 weeks. Now, science has actually proven that. I've got both actual, I'll leave those articles in the comments section as well. But you got to look at this, okay? You got to look at this from their point of view. So let's talk about this for a second. First, the abortion issue. So think about something really quick. These people right here want to use abortion as a means of birth control. So you mean to tell me that you want to actually, oh, by the way, only women can get pregnant, okay? Those men that you claim are getting pregnant, they're just women who transitioned and they still don't have a penis. They still have an actual, like, vagina and all that stuff right there. And they get pregnant by an actual man. They just pretend to be. By the way, we'll talk about that a little bit later on this video. But the thing is this right here. What person thinks it's morally acceptable to kill a child, especially one that's already came outside the womb? I think it was Vosh the other day said that he went on Timcast IRL when he did a debate with Charlie Kirk, and his comment was life occurs sometime after birth. What? Really? So the child has been born, he's outside, she's outside being held by her mother or his father, and yet the child's life has not begun? Okay, you guys are kind of picking up on this right here, that these people don't really have much logic in there. Now, typically, this right here borderlines not just the fact that someone may be, how do I say, uninformed. You've gone from uninformed and ignorant to just straight out illogical and irrational. Okay, now we could have that discussion of when life begins, and of course some people may even make a case that maybe it doesn't really and truly begin until, like, I don't know, like 8 weeks, even though I just provided a document right here, 2 separate documents that stated that it occurs at anywhere 6 weeks, of course, when the heartbeat is actually formed. I'm just using this as an example. There's a lot of irrationality and a lot of illogical fallacies here that they bring up. Also, something else too, while we're on the topic of gender, gender is really just a social construct that a guy by the name of John Money fashioned. Don't worry, I'll leave that also in the description box as well. You see, I always make fun of this notion because, to me, I think that all these genders that they come up with, pansexual, non-binary, what is a quomosexual, crap like that right there. And I understand quomosexual is a play on something that Trevor Noah said, but the thing is this right here, it's not really a gender. It's just another form of queer that they come up with to add to that whole LGBTQIA thing. Now, by the way, this video right here could get doxxed, but I'm going to say what I got to say. This is a mental disorder, okay? Lack of accountability, extreme lack of accountability. There's a lot of rage turned inward. Deeply, and I know this is a quote that I got from a Facebook meme, a guy I follow called, it's this post called The Captain, but it's actually correct. Most people that I've met in my life that were liberal, for the most part, and I'm not talking about like just basic libs, okay? I mean, like me, for example, to a certain degree, I'm a classical liberal. Classical liberal is someone who's in favor of free speech. Now, by the way, by free speech, I'm also in favor of accountability, not cancel culture. You see, the difference between cancel culture and accountability is this right here. You see, accountability is when you call somebody out for saying something stupid. I've been called out before. I've called other people out before. That happens. This case, it's called life. You make those mistakes. Whereas cancel culture, on the other hand, is basically ruining someone's life for something that occurred, I don't know, 5, 6, in some cases even 20 years. I mean, remember Kevin Hart? Some transphobic or some homophobic tweets, which, by the way, were probably just jokes because he's a comedian. They were unearthed like 5 years before he was set to go to the Oscars, and yet they demanded accountability from him. Not only accountability, but they demanded some form of satisfaction. Now, typically, if somebody upsets you, or they upset, say it's me, for example. Let's say you wronged me, like you insulted me. Now, I'm not going to demand an apology. More times than not, I'm probably just going to insult you back. It's just who the hell I am. After a while, you insult one another, and then after a while, you come to, look, man, you say to yourself, look, man, I was wrong, okay? I was jacked up, man. That was wrong. You know what, man? Maybe I said some pretty bad stuff myself. Look, man, I apologize about this. Yeah, man, I accept your apology. Hey, man, I'm sorry I said that about your mom, this, that, and the other. Typically, sorry is like, hey, look, I'm satisfied. You know, that's typically satisfied. Now, these people right here have a sense of not being able to be satisfied. As a matter of fact, it's almost like it's, and don't worry, I'll leave some videos and some more links in the description box. As a matter of fact, the description box is going to be full of links this rare, especially as we talk about this issue much further in the future. It seems to me like there's a lot of like neuroticism here. Okay, like a lot. And by the way, they hate that word neurotic. They absolutely hate it. But don't worry, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to actually explain it. Some of you guys who are watching this probably already know what it means. Don't worry, I will be leaving stuff in the comment section in the description box for you guys to check it out. I highly advise you guys do. I normally watch Dr. Todd Grandi for psychological stuff because psychology does, in fact, intrigue me. Not to mention the fact that I had to learn a little bit of psychology when I went through recreational therapy, and then when I eventually transitioned to sports studies, I still had to learn some psychology as well because social psychology, sociology, you know, sport, modern psychology, that stuff always comes up. So you have to at least have a little bit of an understanding of what's going on. I mean, I'm not some Freud guy or anything, but I think I understand at least certain terms. The thing is this right here. A lot of these people tend to have a lot of rage turned inwards, a lot of self-hatred. And, of course, they like to use the platforms that they have to, you know, victimize themselves. This is just who the hell these people are. I mean, look at their actions. I mean, you got people out here, you know, if somebody gets shot somewhere, they barely even watch the news and even get the actual story. I understand the mainstream media leaves out a lot of things, but if you actually sit down and actually watch the news, even the left-leaning media, every now and again a morsel of truth will come out. Like, we'll take Jacob Blake, for example. I don't have to really and truly rehash that story, but when they see this situation, they automatically think, cop kills black guy innocent, kills innocent black guy. If you give it about 20 more minutes, you'll find out that the situation is not as cut and dry as you think. There's a lot more nuance to this, and you find out the cops were actually, in fact, justified. Go back to George Floyd. Okay, you see that, man, that's horrible. Even I thought it was horrible. But then again, though, you get the story on the individual, and you take about a week or so to process the actual reports that were coming in about how he was on fentanyl, and you basically have a lot of knowledge. And it's almost like these people immediately freeze out any type of reason. They automatically jump to conclusions and basically say to themselves, we demand blood for this. We demand satisfaction. Normal people would just maybe protest or say something in the media, and then they would file a lawsuit. These people go out and actually destroy property, destroy homes. And they also do it in environments where they know they can get away with it. Last night, and by the way, I still watch Tim Cass IRL special every now and again when he has somebody good. He had Kurt Schlichter on, and Kurt Schlichter made a point that I quite frankly have made several times on this channel. Because they look at Antifa. It's not really that big of a group, maybe 20 or 30 actual groups itself with maybe 20 or 30 members. It's not like the size of an actual army. But what do? They go out there, they physically intimidate people, they attack old people, they go after people who are unarmed. Well, why the hell would they do this? Well, they do it in an environment like, say, Portland, Oregon, where they have a mayor named Ted Wheeler. And they know they can get away with the crap because he's kind of sort of on their side. They know the cops are not going to screw with him, so what do? They go out there and attack people. By the way, Portland, Oregon, a city with massive gun control laws. yeah, if people are not armed to actually check this type of behavior, they're probably going to do it. Which, by the way, also features the fact that a lot of these people are completely undisciplined. It's not like these people were born into a very, very bad environment. A lot of these people are suburban kids. I mean, I mentioned Vosh earlier. Beverly Hills, grew up in a very, very white home. Okay, does this make any sense to you? It's not like, it's a lot of these people are pushing people who are not privileged or people who are underprivileged, people who are poor. It's almost like they're pushing them into their own deaths. Now, guys, this right here is going to be a comment that's going to be very, very controversial, okay? And by the way, I had a video get removed this morning when I woke up. This video, of course, coming out on Friday, coming out tomorrow with my Lawrence Southern's video review, and also something else too. I have a special video to also go. So I'm actually going to be releasing 4 videos, not 3. So make sure you guys stick around. The thing is this right here. The vast majority of these people, during the whole George Floyd protest, and I had this immediate thinking, especially when it got to Atlanta. I saw a bunch of white people pushing black people in front of the cops. Like the white people were actually in the back pushing black people forward. And I got to thinking to myself, and by the way, YouTube, I'm not advocating, I'm just simply pointing something out. What if the cops were pushed to actually use deadly force? Do you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of that the movie South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. If you guys have ever seen the movie, don't worry, I'll leave the clip in the comment section for you guys to see. Let's just say it was Operation Human Shield. I'm not going to say the actual, I'm not going to use the full tones, but YouTube will find a way to strike this video. But basically, that's what I thought was going on. You see, the same people that they claim that they're fighting for, every which way they go out, they completely contradict themselves. By the way, people of contradictions normally do not have sound body and mind. Like I said, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. This is who these people are. I mean, like I said, go back and look at the photos at the beginning of this video that I posted. You see these people doing some of the most heinous crap. Also something else too. I mean, who the hell takes a crap on a car out in the middle of the road? Who the hell does this? These people are not mentally stable. They never have been. I mean, all you got to do is take a look at, and like I said, going back to the whole thing about abortion, and I meant to make this point earlier. Fatherly.com released a study, and it's not just Fatherly.com. And by the way, this study was released by Yahoo News. They stated that conservatives have more kids. You see, conservatives actually believe in actually passing on to generations. It's what we were taught at a very, very young age. We're typically more religious. We typically tend to believe in God. The vast majority of us do. We're pro-gun. We're pro-self-defense. We like to hunt. For the most part, conservatives as a whole actually just want to be left the hell alone. So when you hear people say that conservatives are causing this, conservatives are causing that, just think to yourself, chances are it's probably not conservatives actually doing it. For the most part, the most we might do is go to like a school, like a school meeting or a PTA meeting. We might protest the new curriculum. For the most part, we're people who mostly want to be left alone. There's a reason why we live in small towns and small areas. There's a reason why we live in rural areas. We don't want to be in the hustle and bustle of big cities because that's just not the way we are. Whereas cities, of course, are becoming much, much more liberal. Conservatives, for the most part, just want to live a life on their own. Liberals typically tend to want to kind of throw their ideology in your face. Now, guys, I want to say this really quick because it was Jonathan Haidt's book, The Righteous Mind. He mentioned the chart. It was the chart that says that liberals, he brought up several models, and I'll probably edit them in this video. Conservatives and moderates understand liberals, but liberals do not understand conservatives. Now, we'll probably do more videos in the future about this, but I think a lot of it is because conservatives and moderates actually have a tendency to try to hold themselves together. You see, we actually believe in having children. We believe in setting some type of example. Now, granted, I don't have any kids that I know of, which, by the way, is probably going to get ripped in the comments for. It's okay. But the thing is this right here. We want to set the example. Even if we don't have children or anything, we just have a personal accountability of ourselves that we want to actually have because we actually believe in that. We actually believe in keeping ourselves actually, honest to God, in line with ourselves. I mean, take liberals, for example. One of the things that they're constantly screaming for is free healthcare. Free healthcare, free healthcare, free healthcare. Free healthcare would be great, but the problem is that we can't afford it. Okay? Go back to when Kyle Kulinski mentions that, 80% of the American people want free healthcare. Of course, 80% of the American people want free healthcare. 80% of the American people would like to know that they can walk into an actual physician's east like I have in my hometown, go in there and get checked out in case something is wrong and get the doctor to fix it. Nobody wants to be sick. Nobody wants to die. Okay? Look, I don't fear death, but that does not mean that I want to die. But here's the deal, though. Liberals demand that it all be free. Now, they want free health care for stuff like, say, lung cancer. Guys, I smoke, okay? I know that I'm at a risk for I'm trying to quit, by the way. I'm at a risk for lung cancer and heart attacks. I don't think the taxpayer should pay for my bad decisions. Okay, I get lung cancer. It's my problem. I'm the one who's got to deal with that. I don't think somebody should pay for it. As a matter of fact, if I was to live and my mother or family member or maybe wife paid for that, wife's family paid for that, I would be grateful for about maybe a month or so. I'd get that nice euphoric feeling, but I would probably feel like shit for the rest of the time I'm alive because they went broke to save my ass. That right there is called having a guilty conscience. Actually knowing that, hey, look, I really dodged a bullet here. I got saved by someone else. Thank God someone came here and saved me. These people on the left, they want accountability. They demand satisfaction. Their way of doing it is quite hypocritical, quite frankly. I mean, there's a photo of these people who are completely overweight, drinking Cokes, drinking beers, eating pizzas all the time. They demand you pay for their health care. I don't want to pay for that shit. You see, it's about responsibility. The left does not have any. Typically, people who don't have any type of responsibility or want to take responsibility are typically people who are very, very depressed. They have a lot of rage turned inward. Also, anxiety disorders are also high amongst the left as well. This is not like, say, myself, when I get home after 4 years being in the United States Marine Corps and about 3 or 4 years after living a normal civilian life, of which I had a hard time keeping a job, there were certain little triggers that were found, and all of a sudden I become 29, 30 years old, and something happens, and I suddenly start getting anxiety attacks. It's a little bit different, okay? What do? You cope with it. Liberals typically don't tend to cope with this. We found this out when I was in recreational therapy, which, by the way, is about coping mechanisms, being able to cope with problems. They don't believe in doing that, okay? You guys see it with their own actions. Basically, the whole thing is it's a giant free-for-all, and if I screw up, well, it's on you. It's your fault that I screwed up. You see, they're very quick to victimize themselves and point their fingers at other people. This is just who they are. Okay, they've always been that way. Now, of course, liberals can come over and swing a little bit rightward, especially when they begin to eat themselves as society, because they quite frankly do. Now, I know I brought abortion again, and here I am touching on it again. Fatherly.com brought that study up. Okay, well, why is it that conservatives are having 2 kids per one liberal family? Is it maybe because liberals don't value life? I mean, these people kill the unborn, which, by the way, a heartbeat's been detected at 6 weeks. Not like Vosh says, where he says that life sometimes occurs after birth, which is the dumbest freaking thing I've ever heard, the most illogical crap I've ever heard. These people want to kill a life always in. And by the way, there's going to be some videos on abortion and the left's views on abortion here soon. As a matter of fact, Saturday, one of the first videos I'm going to be doing on this channel from behind the actual computer is on the little Josh Hawley debacle. And there's going to be a video on the Tim Cass special where he had with Matthew Bender. Just the absolute lunacy of these people was absolutely ridiculous. But they would have you believe that life does not even begin when the child is actually born. No, that baby comes out, he's crying, she's crying, that baby's alive. That's life, okay? Life begins when that little tiny heartbeat, that very, very fetal heartbeat begins to kick. That right there is when life begins. I mean, say what you want to. You can say to me, look, you're stupid, whatever. That right there is a hill that I'm willing to die on. Also, something else, too, when somebody brings up rape and incest, I'm kind of sitting here looking at this situation, and even left-leaning Tim Pool agrees with this situation. He says that in the case of rape and incest, you might as well allow the child to live. I mean, what if you want to give the child for adoption? Couples want to actually adopt kids. They'll bring up stuff like, well, no family wants to adopt. Well, how long did you freaking look for? Also, something else, too, while we're on this topic, I mean, abortion, leftism, for the most part, is just a very, very, feudal lifestyle. It just is. It's almost like there's no future in it. The only thing they care about is themselves. I mean, they're extremely self-absorbed people. I mean, this is just who the hell they are. Someone who's very self-absorbed like that has probably got some type of inherent narcissism, and not the healthy type. Now, guys, you can have a little bit of narcissism as long as it elevates your confidence, because confidence is very, very important. But the thing is this right here. There's a difference between being confident and being narcissistic, okay? People used to give Trump crap for him being narcissistic. And he came off as a blowhard. He was very, very bloviating, a very, very confident way. He did exaggerate a lot of things. But for the most part, though, when you got him behind closed doors, the stories were that he was not like that at all. It's mostly bravado, false bravado. I mean, you can play a character. You can do that. Most of the left is not playing the character. This is who the hell they really and truly are. I mean, there's not much accountability. I mean, it's like I said, a lot of depression, a lot of anger, a lot of anxiety. They sit there and talk about social justice, but yet everything they propose hurts the people that they claim they're for. Have you ever wondered why women nowadays, the feminist faction, they're just becoming good old-fashioned crazy cat ladies? It's because no self-respecting man wants to marry them. No self-respecting man wants to actually date them. And don't worry, we'll probably tackle that issue at a later date on this channel as we expand our actual horizons when we talk about the culture war and we talk about society at large and things that are going on the earth. Now, guys, this video here has been kind of long, and I appreciate you guys sticking around for this video. I'm going to go ahead and end the video now. Just know that it is one of many videos to come on this topic. So make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Also click on the notifications so that way you guys are notified when my videos come out. Leave a comment in the comment section. I want to get you guys' thoughts, and I'll see you guys later.